If I had my way, everything would be so nice. This world would be like Paris. No, it would be a paradise. No one would ever have to say, I'm gonna get my wish someday. All one would have to do is say, this is my order, if you may. Welcome to another episode of The School Without Walls. I'm Antonio Hobbs, host and founder of this educational program. My guest today is Mr. Anthony Brooks and his lovely wife, Shelia Brooks, right?
Yes, sir.
Both of them are business persons. My understanding is you all work together in business, but you have a separate business, right?
That's correct.
Okay, so let us start off by talking, Mr. Brooks, would you tell us a little bit about your background and where you were raised and early education and how you got to this point?
Okay. Once again, I'm Anthony Brooks, and I'm a native of Arkansas. Mm-hmm. I was born in Little Rock, Arkansas in 1968 to James and Gloria Brooks. Mm-hmm. I graduated high school in 1986 from Jacksonville, Arkansas.
Okay.
And wound up getting a 4-year degree at Philander Smith College in Little Rock.
Mm-hmm. What was that degree in?
Business Organization Management.
Business Organization. That is paid off, I assume.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and continue with the education. Did you go further in school or just started to work after that?
I started to work after that. After getting my degree, I went to work full-time for a construction company in Little Rock, and I worked there for a little over 10 years, and then I wound up starting my own drywall business 14 years ago.
Briefly describe drywall business for the community. This is an educational program, and some of them might not know what that is.
Okay.
Drywall.
When you say drywall from a commercial standpoint, I'm in the wall and ceiling business. And what we do is on commercial buildings, which you have some going on the campus here now.
Right.
When you see those metal studs that's standing up, that's doing the infill between the structural membranes, we put the metal studs up, we put the exterior skin on the building, which is the sheeting board, which serves as a substrate for the brick or drive it.
That's where the dry board comes in? Is that?
Yes, sir.
Dry board? Okay.
Yes, sir. Then we put the insulation inside of the stud wall cavity, and then on the interior side of the wall, it's a gypsum product, but it's referred to as drywall. And we put that up, and then when you go in most commercial buildings, you see ceilings up in the air, those little metal cross tees and the ceiling panels in there. But I would like to backtrack just a little bit too, before I go too far in my business, is that my wife and I have been married for 22 years, and we have 2 sons.
Good.
One named Asa, he's 15 years old, and I have a 11-year-old son, Alex, and they both attend school in Little Rock.
Okay, all boys.
All
2
boys.
children, all
So
boys.
my wife is the queen amongst 3, 1 king and 2 princes.
That's wonderful, wonderful. Of course, that might be a princess in the future, right?
No.
We don't want to talk about that, right? After 22 years of marriage, you probably don't want to do that, huh? Okay, well, very good. Now, we have about a few more minutes in this first session. You want to talk a little bit about, did you finish about your business?
No, I can give...
Finish about your business. We can take the next session and necessarily talk about your business. All right.
But we have done some work here on this particular campus. I think maybe a little over a decade ago, we did some remodel work in the archives project on this particular campus here.
I see.
And we worked for a lot of the general contractors in the Little Rock area. We're currently working from Northwest Arkansas to Central Arkansas. We've gone as far west as Denver, Colorado.
Oh, is that right? How long were you down there?
In Denver, I was out in Denver for almost a year. We wound up doing a 14-screen movie theater and a guitar center and I think Jason's Deli while we were out there. We wound up doing 3 projects while we were out there.
That's wonderful. About what size is your crew, your working crew?
It varies. Right now we're running approximately about 60 guys. But,
about 60 guys.
We're heading into the summer. Sometimes we get up close to 75 to 80 guys during the summer, peak production.
Are all of those under your supervision, or do you have subcontractors come in and work with you?
Some of both. I have a large amount that's under that's direct employees, and then when we reach what we call capacity, we start to sub some out or farm out to other people that come in and help us out to get the projects completed.
I see. If someone wanted to contact you, what number would they call?
Area code 501-224-9255.
Okay, that will perhaps be a caption under your picture, but I want to make sure that gets out. We have about one more minute. Let us now start with your wife. Mrs. Brooks, tell us about your business. You have about a minute to introduce your business before the break.
My name is Shelia Meabon Brooks. I own the property in Sherwood, Arrows Edge Apartments, 300 Indian Head Cove. It's 118 units of a multifamily apartment complex. We have efficiencies or studio apartments. We have 1 bedroom and 2 bedrooms, and all of our 2-bedroom homes are townhouses.
And where are they located?
300 Indian Head Cove in Sherwood, Arkansas.
Sherwood, I
Yes,
see.
sir.
Okay, now he's talked about the children. Anything you want to, we have about 30 seconds. Anything you want to say about the children before, anything in particular about the children you want to say before we go to break? You have 2 sons.
One 10th grade and one 5th grade. They're different.
They're different, well that's okay.
And
Are
we
they athletic?
they both are athletic with football and soccer. And we focus on education.
I see. Do they help you in your business at all, or you just keep them isolated from what you're doing?
They sometimes in the summer help my husband, but as far as with
The
my
apartments, they don't
No,
bother
sir.
with that, I see.
No,
Okay then, I think it's break time.
My new mom and I have a lot in common.
The great outside.
We both love the outdoors.
So shiny.
That's not a flower. We both love geology.
Oh, look. An igneous one.
That's not a rock. And she knows a lot about wildlife.
A labradoodle.
That's not a dog. Hanging out has been kind of fun.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
I wish I was in school.
If only I had a math test today. I'll stay after class.
I'll clean the chalkboard.
I wish I was in school.
School ends, but free lunches for your kids don't have to. Find your local food bank at feedingamerica.org/summer meals for help.
Welcome. Those of you who just joined us, I'm Antonio Hobbs, host of this educational program called The School Without Walls. My guests today are Mr. and Mrs. Brooks. On the other side of the program, we talked mainly about your business, so let's talk a little bit about your siblings. Mr. Brooks, you have siblings?
Yes, I do. I have 2 sisters. One is a school teacher in Little Rock, Arkansas, and I have another sister that's she works for Southwest Airlines, and she lives in Dallas-Fort Worth area. And I have a brother that lives in Stuttgart, Arkansas, and he's in the agriculture.
Agriculture? He's a farmer?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I see. What side of is it? What size spread does he handle?
Well, he's an employee. He works for
For a company?
for a company down
Oh, I
there, and
see.
they primarily focus on rice.
Rice, that's what I figured. Stuttgart rice.
On
That's
rice,
rice
but-
country.
Yes, and they put in a lot of hours, you know, this time of year, you know. So
It is
they
amazing
busy.
how things have changed from, I grew up on a farm, by the way.
Okay.
And of course, I grew up and got experience with the horses and mules and stuff like that. But now they have these tractors that have air conditioning systems in them, computers, carry 10 rows.
Oh yeah, it's definitely.
It is amazing how things have changed. I'm going to make a brief statement about my experience with my dad. I said, Dad, why don't you buy a tractor? See, I came along when the tractors were beginning to get popular, small tractors, you know, carry 2 rows. We're just not able, son, we're just not able to get a tractor. And the day I graduated, he didn't wait until I got in college. He went and bought a tractor.
I guess you were the tractor.
There you go. I was the tractor. So I enjoyed farming, but that followed the mule I didn't like. The experience I had with the tractors and so forth was real nice. Nice to grow up on a farm. Okay, and your siblings?
My siblings are, I have two sisters, and I'm the oldest of the three. I have a sister that lives in Bethesda, Maryland. Her name is Latasha Meabon Bell. And then I have a sister here that has a daycare in Little Rock called Growing Patch off of Canis. And her name is Monique Meabon.
I see. Okay. You want to mention your parents?
My parents,
the
yes.
names and so forth?
My parents are Jesse and Laverta Meabon, and we are from North Little Rock. And I graduated from Northeast High School back when it was a Northeast High School. Right now it's an East Campus and a West Campus.
Northeast High School?
Northeast High School.
That was located in where now? I missed the location.
In North Little Rock.
North Little Rock, okay, North Little Rock, okay.
Yes, sir. So,
that's about it, huh?
yes, sir.
They're in the process of building a large stadium, I believe, in North Little Rock.
Oh,
Is that right?
I think they've.
You don't have a piece of that, do you?
Yes, I do. In fact,
that's wonderful.
they're doing a overall revamping of the school system in North Little Rock, and we've been fortunate enough that we landed the Lakewood Elementary project, and we also have buildings A and B of the North Little Rock High School, and that's going to be a state-of-the-art campus by the time it's completed. I think they're spending $250 million on rebuilding those schools in the North Little Rock area. So it's a substantial.
That's a good segue. That's a good segue into something else I had in mind. I'm an advocate for young people, especially the African American community, which we are really concerned about, since that is the community that we both are part of and we're behind, to understand the importance of trades. See, a lot of them come to college because they get grants and so forth, don't have any idea why they're there.
Right.
So I advocate to you, be sure that you know whether you are college material or you have an interest in learning the academic field.
Right.
But if you want to first be prepared to make a decent living.
Exactly.
And there's always work for people who can work with their hands and those skills. So let's talk a little bit about the importance of trades and things like that for some of us.
Okay. I think that's a very important subject that's very dear to me. Today in the construction industry, the average construction worker is close to 60 years old. And for every one person that exit out of construction, we're not replacing that person. So it's 3 exit. We're getting 1 natural-born American to enter back into that. So, which is creating a shortage of manpower.
Right.
But now the Hispanic has come in and picked it up to some extent. But research has shown that in cities where there are third-generation Hispanics, they're not entering into the construction trade. They're going to work for become firemen, AT&T, and so. But at some point, we're going to have to go back to the high schools and start recruiting the high schools and the penal system and start recruiting people and getting them into the construction industry. I think it's going to be a huge opportunity for people to get into the construction industry over the next decade. There's going to be a lot of jobs available and a lot of opportunities to make a good living.
Right.
I would be willing to say that a journeyman construction worker makes equivalent or better than most students coming out of college in the
profession.
Exactly.
Right.
And that I sit on the American Subcontractors Association National Board, and I'm hearing this from contractors all over the United States that they're experiencing the same level of shortage of manpower, and we all are concerned that if we don't get some type of programs put in place, there's not going to be people here to build these buildings.
And that would be a crisis, because we need the buildings, don't we?
Exactly.
Now, what would be the prerequisite for journeyman. When he comes into construction, we're talking about the various jobs that they might enter, and what do they need to be prepared to know?
Well, first of all, there are several trades. You have mechanical, electrical, glazing, concrete. A journeyman is classified going back to the union days when we used to have a lot of apprenticeships in trade schools. Someone that went to a 4-year program along with on-the-job training. They got the distinction of being a journeyman.
Right.
But now that the trade schools are no longer out there like they used to be, most people come and they just get it on-the-job training, and then after you can perform so many tasks at a certain level, you get the classification of journeyman. But you have the electricians and plumbers, you have to take and pass a state exam with tests to get that distinction as a journeyman or something. That, but
even today, they have to do
still
that,
today,
right?
you have to do
But
it.
to do cement, you don't have to do that, right?
No, you just on the job training. You generally hire out as a laborer or a helper, and then after you work with a certain amount of journeymen over a certain period of time, and they teach you the adequate skills, you get classified as a journeyman.
I see. About average wage for the beginner, we have about 1 to 2 minutes.
Okay.
No, about 2 seconds.
2 seconds.
What do they?
Someone entering the industry with no experience at all generally makes about $12 an hour, and then as a journeyman, depending on which profession you get in, like most of our union rate, our prevailing wage scales for drywall is in the $18 an hour range. I think elevator people, if you're fortunate to get in there, it can be as high as $32 an hour.
Even the laborers beyond common, what they call it, common wages? Is that what they call that? The average, the lowest wage is called, what do they call it?
Labor.
Yeah, no, what, minimum.
Minimum wage.
It's beyond minimum wage.
Yes, it's more. Yes.
We're going to take a break and we'll be back in just a few minutes.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Sunflower Wilson, a recent graduate with a degree in fisheries biology. As I begin working on my master's, I am confident in the skills and lessons that UAPB has taught me through instructors like Dr. Hawkness.
Sunflower challenged herself with a rigorous course curriculum. Her efforts led to numerous presentations in front of scientific audiences at state and national venues. A National Science Foundation internship gave her the opportunity to go to Alaska and work with scientists examining crustacean physiology. UAPB prepares its students for opportunities like these every day.
UAPB prepared me.
Checking your fantasy league?
Nah, just my 401k statement.
Nice. Where'd you find the money for that?
I just been saving a little every month.
I can't seem to save anything.
Well, what about all this? What about the money you're spending?
What money? It's gone before I can get my hands on it.
I got a pizza for a Todd.
Hey, can somebody spot me?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
It's 547.
Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
When life's this hard, graduating can be even harder. But you can help Jose and the students in your community make it through by visiting boostup.org.
Those of you who have just joined us, I'm Antonio Hobbs, host of this educational program called The School Without Walls. My guests are Mr. and Mrs. Brooks. I want to mention to the public that both of us are members of a fraternity called the Sigma Pi Phi fraternity. And of course, you're an officer, right?
Yes, sir.
What is your position with the Sigma Pi Phi fraternity?
I'm the Theresis, which is the Greek term for treasurer.
Are you the treasurer? You handle the money, right?
Yes.
And the wives of the Boule members are called what?
Kusa.
So you're in a Kusa, right? You're in a Kusa. How long have you been a member?
I've been a member for 4 years.
4 years, and you've been on a Kusa for 4 years, right?
Yes, sir.
How do you like being on a Kusa?
It's nice.
You like the organization and so forth? I also like to mention a little bit to the public, this is the first Greek African-American fraternity. A lot of people don't realize that. It is the father of all of the on-campus fraternities. That's my understanding. Okay, so you held the money, okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now let's get back, if we will, to talking about young people. Any advice you can give young people, especially the young African-American males? So many of them are, first of all, let me compliment those who are doing well. I think I'll start with accent the positive.
Right.
We have some wonderful youngsters here on the campus, and only a small segment of them wear their hats in the classroom.
That's very good.
Yeah, which, we're against that, but we have a few that still sit in the classroom with their hats on. Do you think that's negative for them as far as preparing for the future to sit in the classroom with their caps on during lesson time? Do you want to comment on that?
I think so, because first of all, you would like to, you need to prepare yourself how the world is going to see you.
There you go.
You need to always present yourself very well. You're not going to go to an interview with a hat on.
Right.
You always need to stand up tall and look your best and speak your best.
That is so true.
And you practice that. That's where it begins. At home and then in the classroom.
That is so true. I've often asked youngsters, I said, why is it, do you think this young person has to be asked to take his cap off? And most of them are puzzled too, because the majority of them take them off, but we have one or two come in, sit up. They said, maybe he doesn't have any home training. I don't know. I said, well, I don't know either. And some said maybe they're rebelling against the system, but it's not a good thing.
Right.
So we're hoping that those peers will put enough pressure on those who perhaps don't understand, for whatever reason. As you said, they are preparing
Yes, sir.
to meet the challenge of some well-groomed people out there. And I always tell them that there will never be enough jobs for everybody who's prepared for jobs.
Right.
That's right.
So the employer, and you're an employer, you start from the top down, don't you?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yes, sir. What are some other things that you think that might help the youngsters to be more competitive?
I think to further piggyback off of what Dr. Hobbs, you said, and my wife Sheila just says, that we're going to have to convert our thinking more to mainstream America. Mainstream America is not going to convert. They're not going to do it our way. So if we're working for mainstream America, that means no caps. You don't need to wear caps.
Right.
Going back to the first segment when we were talking about you growing up on a farm, you most definitely going to have a good work ethic.
There you go.
Whether you, no matter what you do, in order to be successful, it starts with a good work ethic.
You got to burn that energy, haven't you?
You got to burn that energy, and you got to be able to give people and yourself more than what's required.
There you go. That was my training. That was my training. If you got an 8-hour job, you're going to put more than 8 hours in.
Right.
Rather than
if you want to
about the
advance.
break. Right.
And I think we all just have to get back to the basics. The respect. First of all, you have to respect yourself.
There you go. That's number one, right?
That's number one.
Right.
And then you respect yourself, it needs to flow out to respecting others. So it would be a no-brainer. I don't need to walk in the classroom with my cap on.
Right.
You know, I need to give my professor the utmost respect. You know, this is her time. This is my time. I need to stay focused.
Right.
And it's all about respect. It's all about appearance, because you never know who's watching.
And the first, that's true. Even your teachers, you cannot hardly get started without a recommendation from a teacher,
right.
and a lot of them
So
don't
you
know
never
that.
know who's watching.
The teachers know you better than any
That's
other
right.
people, even your parents.
You need sometimes at least 3.
Right, the recommendation of parents don't go near as far as that, because everybody would probably say my child is the best
a little
child.
bias.
We should have, a little bias there. We have about 1 more minute before we wrap up. If there's anything we want to say, I'm glad you came, and I'm hoping that you will continue to be role models for our young people. And you said something I want to piggyback on. We've got to understand the importance of power, right?
That's correct.
And try to work into the mainstream.
Yes, sir.
Rather than having the mainstream to come out to us.
Exactly.
It just doesn't work that way, does it?
I hadn't had a whole lot of luck.
It doesn't work that way.
Right.
So we have 1 minute. You may have whatever you like to say. And then.
Once again, I would like to tell any young black boy or girl, just stay focused on achieving your goal. If the mind can think it, you can achieve it.
I believe that.
Don't sell yourself short, and you have my contact information, and anything I can do to help you, feel free to call me. My wife and I, like I said, we've been in business for 14 years. We've had some good years, and we've had some bad years, but we wouldn't trade it for anything.
Right. That's part of life, right? You have to deal with the good and the bad. Anything you want to say before we close down? I think we have about 30 seconds.
I just would like to say to the young ladies, just stay focused. Just be positive, stay focused, cover up.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's so important these days.
We have some come to class like that with bathing suits on.
Right,
almost.
you don't have to show skin to advance. Always be respectful and mindful of the things you say and the things you do.
Because those things will follow you, right?
Yes, sir.
What about this? What they call this stuff they're putting on the Facebooks? What do they call this stuff?
Social media.
Social media. They have to watch that, don't they?
Oh yes.
Oh yes.
A lot of them are doing crazy
because
things.
now, when you interview for jobs, they can go back and look at your Facebook page, and
Someone's never lost.
Yeah, that can hurt you or help you.
Right. Well, we'll end on that note. Glad to have you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Glad to have you.
Pleasure
All
to be
right.
here. Thank you.